Droners, welcome to another edition of an incredibly amazing episode with my man Kelly from Ready Set Drone Blam. He's rocking the Droner t-shirt and we just touch each other. It's good. I like it. We do good. We're bam.
Going home.
Oh my God. So today what we're going to be doing is this incredibly brave man is actually going to let me fly a racing drone. This is a Walkera 110.
110.
Walkera 110.
Rodeo 110.
Walkera Rodeo 110.
Yeehaw, we're in Texas.
And if you guys remember, you look back in the videos, you'll know that I actually have had a little bit of experience with racing drones with Richard. Shout out to Richard, he's the man. He's the homie, actually. That's exactly what he is. And Richard is a professional drone racer, like top 25 in the world. I said it, he didn't.
I'm 1,462,847.
At least you say it.
Yeah.
At least you say it. You see that, Richard? He claims it. So why don't you tell me a little bit about this drone?
Some people don't know. A lot of times the number in the drone indicates the number of millimeters diagonally from motor to motor.
from here
So this is a 110.
I'm sorry.
It's usually,
I did
yeah,
that. That's what I
diagonally.
did.
So this is a Walkera Rodeo 110, which I love this little guy. It is one of the smallest, serious, fast FPV drones that I've ever seen. There are some indoor ones. You'd have to be really confident and good to fly this indoors. And by the way, you would want to have prop guards on if you flew it indoors, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of prop guards usually, but indoors you would want to have them. But we're going to fly this guy and give B a chance to just kind of fly around. There's a few obstacles. We're in a big open field. It is a little windy. And also, we're going to test out, or I'm going to test out, these Aomway FPV goggles. These are brand new. These just came out. They have diversity, meaning that they have two antennas, and I believe they have two receivers, right? So is that what diversity works like with wireless mics?
Yeah, you would have to have two different transmitters, two different receivers.
Yeah, so, well, there's only one
Wait,
transmitter
that's
in
what I'm
there.
saying. One transmitter and then two receivers. So
Yeah.
it just transmits in two signals?
I think it's just one signal. But I think what this does is this takes the better of the two. That's why you use two different types of antennas.
Oh, I
So
get it
you've
now,
got
okay.
this flat antenna, which is, I believe, more. Now I'm going to get schooled by somebody out there on antennas. But
Here we go.
This is I believe this is a bit more directional, but
Okay.
stronger. And this is a clover leaf. There's a clover leaf under here, and I believe this is not as strong, but more omnidirectional.
Got it.
And so you have both of them on here, and you get the best of both, and it picks the signal off of whichever one you want.
Okay.
So anyway, point is that I'm really excited. I've only had these, actually this is my first time to fly with them today. I've tested them out at home just to see what they were like, but gonna fly with them, gonna try and DVR with them a little bit.
Yep.
And then we've got the trusty old Fat Shark Dominator 2s here, which I've had for quite a while. B's gonna wear those. They're honestly great goggles, and we are gonna DVR with them as well. And the biggest thing for me is these don't have two antennas. These just have one antenna. So I imagine you might get a little bit more dropout on these than you do on this one. But you know, if that's an issue, if it becomes an issue, you can fly with these. I have flown with this Rodeo 110 with that setup and that antenna, and it does pretty well. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just go through the real quick basics, a couple things on the FPV flying, and then I'll take it up for maybe a lap or two, and then you take it up for a lap or two.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay, so a couple of things to keep in mind with all FPV racers. Number one, you want to make sure when you plug your battery in. Now this is a tiny little 2S battery because this is a tiny little drone. You want to make sure your battery cable doesn't end up hitting a prop, because I have had before where my battery cable's down here and the props end up getting hit. So you know, if you got to use some Velcro, if you got to use rubber bands, something to keep it out of the way. Fortunately, with this one, the way it's designed, it's pretty easy because the battery port's right here on top. You plug it in, and this just creates a little
loop on top.
But
yeah.
there are FPV racers where just be mindful of where that cable is, because it'll creep over and that'll screw you up and you'll crash and whatever.
Got it.
These things are designed to be crashed, so it's not a big deal. Second thing to keep in mind with your little FPV racer, make sure your battery's cinched down nice and tight, and also just it's a good idea to do a little center of gravity check on these things. Sometimes you'll fly with an aftermarket battery, and you'll find that if it's too heavy in the front or the back, it'll lean forward or backward.
Mm-hmm.
These are pretty sensitive to that, so you want to try and kind of get them center of gravity. Now this is the factory battery that comes with this, and it's perfectly sized.
Right.
So that's the beauty of it. This little 2S battery fits right where it is, works great. Next thing, if you are super nerdy and you really want your quad to be set up awesome, take it into CleanFlight or Betaflight, which is software you can plug in. There's a USB port on the side, and It's right here. It says upgrade port, and you can plug it into your computer, and you can actually tune a bunch of things. You can customize the radio control, what the switches do. You can customize the sensitivity.
Yeah, Richard was actually telling me about that. He was tuning it while he was playing with it.
Yeah. So this one's tuned fine. This one flies just fine, and I'm not going to mess with it right now. But I encourage you, if you're going to get into FPV racing, to fly, to learn how to use CleanFlight, Betaflight, and just play with it.
Yeah.
There's some really detailed stuff you can do that I don't understand, but the basics in it is great. So you can set some things up. And then the last thing I'll say is very important: the camera tilt. So almost all FPV racers have the ability to tilt the camera. Why is that important? Well, just a minute ago I was flying it, and B says, "Hey man, can you go faster?"
Yeah.
And so I start going faster, and because my camera was tilted kind of down, we ended up looking at the ground because the quad tilts forward. So if you're going to go fast, you're going to want to tilt the camera up more. So what that means is when you're hovering or when you are going slow, you're going to be looking up a little bit more at the sky. But when you go forward,
looking straight on.
So what would be awesome, Walkera, DJI, Spark, whatever it is if you had a camera that you could have a little adjustment.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Porsches on the back when you start going fast.
Yeah,
and the whale
it
tail
automatically.
comes out.
But that's on the wish list. So all of that said. We've already tuned the goggles to the right frequencies. The cool thing about FPV2, if you don't know this, is one transmitter, many receivers. We can as many people as want to watch can watch. And also, I'll tell you one other quick little lesson I learned with my buddy Jason. We were racing. I don't know if I told you guys this story. And I tuned in. We had two quads sitting right by each other. I accidentally tuned into his channel. He was
you
on
told me
his
that story.
channel,
Yeah.
And I took off thinking I was flying, and I wasn't. I was flying, but I was not seeing my drone. I was actually seeing his drone, and so my drone ended up somewhere in the woods, along with our army man over there. Different video. Check it out. So again, shout out to Walkera for this awesome quad. If you want a nice little beginner one, this is a pretty cool one to fly, and it's fast. I mean, when you get it going, it'll really rip. It's got 3 flight rates. It's got horizon, which is this switch all the way down.
That's how I'm gonna fly?
I'm sorry, it's got angle, which is this switch all the way down.
Okay.
It's got horizon, which is makes it still self levels, but it gives you more latitude, and you can flip it.
Yep.
And then you can put it up into acro, which is
terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to keep it balanced. Very first quad I ever got was a Blade, and it wasn't self-leveling.
Right.
It was one you just had
straight acro,
which was actually pretty good to learn how to fly on.
Yeah. Okay, so you went kind of fast over the different flight modes. So there's horizon,
flight rates. They call them rates. Yep.
Angle, horizon, and
acro.
So I get acro. Acro is like full manual, where it's like you press full forward on the right stick, and it's just gonna do front flips.
Yep.
Okay, because that's really what's weird to me. That whole idea of that is weird to me because I'm used to, like you said, the GPS or the drone. Like if I press full forward, it just tilts forward and goes forward.
Yep.
But full acro just flips.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you see those guys who are doing freestyle or racers. I mean, they're doing acro. It just gives you more control, but you also have to be able to control it.
Right.
It's like it's like getting into a car and turning off the traction control.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So then, what's the horizon?
So horizon is a middle ground. It still allows you to do flips, but you have to push the stick all the way over, and then it will flip, and then it will recover from that flip and continue on.
Got it.
So you have to push the stick over and let go. You can still crash. You can still. I mean, it isn't very forgiving in horizon when you do flips, but it is more forgiving than acro.
Got it.
Because it gets to a point when you push the stick and it says, oh, okay, he wants to flip. So then it flips, and then if you let go of the stick at the right time, the leveling kicks back in.
Got it.
If you don't, you could end up, crashing.
Got it.
And then angle is just angle's what most toy drones are.
Yeah.
And
it just stays up as much as you can.
but even angle mode on this thing is still way more aggressive than angle mode on like a toy drone.
Got it.
I was going to say one other thing about this particular quad. This is a ready-to-fly kit. It came with the Devo 7. Which is a nice little radio. I have like 3 of these now because they come with a lot of different quads.
Yeah, it's a very common looking. I have one of those.
Yeah, it's a pretty common radio, but it's nice because it's already bound. This thing's already set up pretty well. You don't have to do much to it in CleanFlight. If anything, you could just fly it right out of the box and it works pretty well.
Okay.
So, there you go. All right, B, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and don the goggles.
Okay.
I've already set them to the frequency on here.
Cool.
If you do, just a quick tip, if you do end up flying with anybody else, you wanna make sure before you turn your actually turn your transmitter on, the receivers don't matter. You can turn the receivers on. You want to make sure you're not on the same channel as other people, because if you turn your transmitter on and your buddy's out flying and you're on the same channel, you'll throw interference his way and he won't be able to see.
Got it.
So if he's doing some sick tricks and all that kind of thing,
can lose his drone.
he'll crash.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, odds are low. And if you're with a group, you definitely need to all get together and coordinate.
Yeah.
There are 40 channels. There's 8 channels per range. I don't know if it's called a range, but there's 5 ranges. It's like A, B, C, D, and E, and then there's 8 channels on each one. So there's lots to choose from if you have a more modern set of headset like we do.
Cool.
So, so yeah, let's take it up. Let me. I'll wear the commanders.
So I'm just going to
you
be
wear
watching.
the
I'm just
dominators.
going to be watching you fly this time, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and
cool.
then I'll take it for a lap or 2, and then we'll swap batteries, and you can fly it for a bit
Sounds good.
yourself.
You're a brave man.
Okay, so 2 quick things. Again, these are new to me. The Aomway. I'm not sure how you say that. How would you say that? Aomway?
Amway.
Amway. The Amway goggles, Commander goggles. So far, I really like them. They're lightweight. They are diversity, but I didn't know if I'd be able to figure out how I would turn on the DVR. I literally just push this top right button, this top right knob, and DVR goes on, starts recording. Now I've just turned it off. Okay, now I'm recording again. So I already know how to do it in the Fat Sharks, but we're gonna compare some of the footage between these two just because I wanna do a comparison on these goggles.
Sweet.
So let's go ahead and don the goggles. I'm gonna tell you something else, that if you have trouble with the ladies, put a pair of these goggles on, man. My wife I mean, she's always like, you look so sexy in those things.
Bring those to the bedroom.
Yes, and I'm like, yes, honey, whatever you say. So let's see.
All right, so this is cool. So Richard did let me wear his goggles, so I've done this before. I watched him fly like that. All right.
Taking it around, back behind us. So you might wonder why we're sitting down. Are we just lazy? Yes, but also we are
Almost hitting poles.
We are going to be flying FPV. And when you stand up and you're flying FPV, you tend to kind of wiggle around. You can see right now I'm kind of wiggling around a little bit, and so you're going to want to make sure. Whoa, hey! You're going to want to make sure that you are sitting down so you don't fall over.
He almost just hit us, in case you guys are wondering.
Yeah, well, they can see the footage.
Yeah, that was just funny. Like, oh, okay, all right. Less explaining, we're flying.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of goofing around with the pole here, and yeah.
So are you getting like, is it getting, you getting interference right here?
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Okay.
Sure am.
Wham.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. There we go. That was close. Did you get that, Tony? Go.
Oh shit.
All right. Landing is a bit of a challenge. You gotta figure out where you are. One thing, you really don't want to fly these super high. They're not designed to be flown super high. So you want to kind of, like I'm doing right now, you want to kind of, yeah, just kill it. There we go. There's a landing we can walk away from. Cool, I get to see him.
Yeah, we can definitely see him. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony. Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
Selfie. Droney. And we'll just keep using this battery until the,
All right, let me just put this over here.
yeah.
Just play the safe game. I'm gonna take it nice and slow.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
Yeah, and again, just try not to get. It's easy to get really high in the air.
Okay.
Just try not to do that. Here it is, folks. Let's see how fly this man is.
No pressure. Here we go. All right.
Nice.
It's almost like an out-of-body experience. All right, I'm just gonna stop. It's bouncing on me. It's pretty intense, actually. I say my whole body felt like nervous when I took off, for sure. I felt super nervous because I was just like, I don't wanna mess up. The only reason that I still felt like my body was still here is because I could still feel nervous that I was gonna crash it or run it into us.
Oh, you did great, man. You did great. You went through the post. You kind of danced around the post a little bit.
Yep.
You bounced off the ground a couple times. That's
did.
what I was talking about, that up and down.
Yep.
You just kind of got to learn to let go of the throttle stick and use the right stick to push forward to go faster.
Yeah, and just do like the panning or the
yaw.
the yaw with it. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty fun. Like I was like, this is awesome. I can definitely understand the draw of being like a drone racer and like really getting into it because it feels like a video game. Honestly, I feel like I was playing a video game where I could run it into my face. That's like the only difference.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's not do that, but why don't you take it up one more time? Let's
let's
give
do
it
this
another shot.
again.
That battery went out quickly, so I feel like you needed a little more flight time. Yeah, get it up. There we go.
Okay,
And you know, one thing you need to just assume is that there's always something behind you. So you never really want to go backwards, or like there. You know, there's a fence back there somewhere. So just assume that that fence is back there. So don't drift backwards too much.
Okay.
And yeah, come on forward. Let's see you roll through that. Let's see you roll at one height, one altitude. Just keeping it at about the same altitude. And come on left. Your yaw left. There we go. Through the goalpost.
Through the goalpost he goes.
Nice, nice. There's a fence back there, by the way. And then yeah, there we go.
Hey, look, there's Tony.
A little bit of drifting you just did. Now you're drifting backwards. Nice. Now let's see if you can just go real smooth right past us and through the goalpost again.
All right.
Yeah, nice. Over that fence back there. There's a fence back there. Cool. Yeah, man.
Wow. I can't talk and do this at the same time. It's full
hard.
concentration.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
All right. I'm covering my head. Nice, not bad. So we had a couple of crashes, and it's still holding up just fine. Durable little guy. What'd you think?
That was awesome. That's what I think. I want one of these because I want to be able to do this and come back and be able to actually compete with you.
Yes, I need to
'cause-
practice too.
Yeah, I think, yeah, both need practice, but I need substantially more. But I'm really happy. I actually, you know, we had a goal. You
Yeah,
know, the goal is to
through
get
the
me,
goal.
Yeah, to get me literally through the goal, and I
Yeah.
went through it twice.
Nice. Yeah. No,
so-
you were exceeds expectation. That was-
Exceeds expectation.
Yeah,
That's my grade for the
that
day.
was your grade, yeah.
I love that.
Nice.
All right, cool. Hey droners, thank you for hanging out with me and Kelly. And if you have not subscribed to Ready Set Drone yet, why haven't you? It's incredible. If you have subscribed to me, you should be doing that because you're here. Either way, make sure you check out this video because this is more video of awesome, and this is another video of awesome because Droner is awesome. And make sure you subscribe to me because that's what we do. And as always, stay fly.